The Western Storm is training for the last time ahead of its grand final clash against the Northern Bombers on Saturday. Tom Cooper was at the Storm's training ground in Prospect and filed this report.
Well, what a year it's been for the Western Storm. In their very first TSL season, the side's gone from struggling to find a ground to train on to finishing equal first on the ladder. And what better way to finish a roller coaster of a season than to win a premiership on Saturday. Standing in their way, hometown rivals, the Northern Bombers, who defeated the Storm by 82 points in their qualifying final. Speaking at a press conference earlier today, Storm forward Bart McCulloch says the side has made some key changes since that loss. And come the weekend, the debutants are looking to relish a challenge and exact some revenge.
Being the underdogs, we've got nothing to lose, so we're just going to come out and attack the game and give it everything we've got. And, we quite enjoy the underdog status, and we've played best with that status this year.
The Storm taking to their training ground here in Prospect a few minutes ago for their last hit out before the big dance. The side hoping several key players who were a part of South Launceston's premiership team last year provide the cool heads under finals pressure. But they'll face a big ask in shutting down a dangerous forward line, with Chris Tarrant looking to make an impact following a quiet semi-final against Clarence. However, McCulloch says if there's one thing the Storm have learnt not to shy away from this season, it's adversity.
Yeah, look, it's been a long road. Back November, December, we didn't really have a base to train at and do our pre-season. We've had a lot of issues to overcome, even getting on the ground to train throughout the year, so it's been a really good achievement by the boys to get where we have.
The forward also stressing, however, that all of that essentially means nothing to the club without a win on Saturday.
Thanks, Tom. Tom Cooper at the Western Storm's training session in Prospect. With the 2014 Premiers set to be decided on Saturday, tonight we take a trip down memory lane and reflect on the highs and lows of the closest season in TSL history. This is the season that was. A sad start to 2014. Clarence captain Cameron Thurley was told he'd never play football again.
I was just gutted, disappointed, went a bit quiet. And then I asked the why questions. Why?
The Alistair Lynch medal was reintroduced by AFL Tasmania as the start of the season saw the birth of three new franchises: Western Storm, Hobart City and the Tigers.
What our trademark, show what it really means to you.
Clarence raced out of the blocks to be undefeated after 9 rounds. In contrast, 2013 grand finalist Burnie failed to fire, dropping 4 of its first 5 games. Launceston also struggled, kept to just 1 goal for an entire match against Lauderdale. Led by new playing coach Aaron Cornelius, Glenorchy was a surprise packet, along with the Baby Bombers at North Launceston. Devonport was in mourning following the sudden death of assistant coach David Cashin. Clarence and Lauderdale's rivalry only got stronger, Bombers coach Darren Winter questioning Roos skipper Brady Jones's character.
I thought the way he jumped up and then was able to run through a couple of blokes on the way off to the bench and then play the full game out, didn't think much of it at all, to be honest.
Jones was named captain of the state team, the map cruising to a 41-point win against the NEFL. The Storm was selected to represent Tasmania in the Foxtel Cup, and they surprised everyone by upsetting West Adelaide. That secured a clash with West Perth at Patterson Stadium. Sadly, they were no match for the Waffles' reigning premier. But the Storm's success prompted the club to re-sign coach Mitch Hills for a further season. Former AFL players continued to fly in. Chris Tarrant returned for a second straight season. Campbell Brown and Brent Guerra represented Devonport, and Glenorchy gained the services of Jamie Charman and Alan Didak. Milestones and North Launceston smashed a 9-year hoodoo against the Blues at Windsor Park. The competition had its first ever draw when Lauderdale hosted Burnie, and Clarence kicked a record score of 232 points against the Tigers. Launceston's Beau Green played a club record 250th game, North Launceston's Alan O'Sine reaching his 200th. It was a close call for the Western Storm's Darren Thomas, who avoided suspension and a potential life ban. But the biggest story of 2014 was the horrific knee injury sustained by Aaron Cornelius. He spent almost a month in the Royal Hobart Hospital. His recovery continues. Despite missing 3 matches, Cornelius won the Hudson Medal as the competition's leading goal kicker. Clarence's James Charlesworth dined out against the Tigers, booting 12 majors. Teammate Trent Standen kicked bags of 9 on 2 occasions. In the closest season in the TSL's history, just 2 points separated first and fourth place on the ladder. the league criticised by not allowing Lauderdale to host a home final. Reports had an impact in September, particularly for North Launceston. Key forward Zach Burt was suspended for one match and Chris Tarrant received a reprimand for a hit on Brady Jones. Glenorchy's Jay Bowden was voted the media's best player. Lauderdale young gun Ben Halton was awarded Rookie of the Year. Despite finishing on top, Clarence coach Matthew Drury wasn't named coach or even assistant coach of the Team of the Year, but perhaps the selectors got it right, with the Roos becoming the first team in TSL history to be knocked out of the finals in straight sets. Just last week, South Launceston Premiership coach Mitch Thorpe signed on to lead Devonport in 2015. Most of his former teammates are now at the Western Storm. Their thrilling win last weekend sets up an all-Launceston grand final against the Bombers. The only piece left of the 2014 puzzle is just who will be crowned Premier on Saturday. And it's not just the TSL holding a grand final this weekend. Hobart's Old Scholars competition will also hold its season decider. 3 members of the Dosa side competing in Saturday's clash all work at Dominic College.
We're all really good mates as well, which makes coming to work really, really good. So it's pretty hard to focus on work at the moment, but I guess that's our number one job and footy's secondary. So we're doing our best to try and juggle both this week.
The Roosters take on Hutchins this weekend, a team they have met in the last 2 grand finals for 1 win apiece. I'm Brent Costelloe. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night.